Hi guys, good morning to all of you. This is Dr. J. Saravanan. I am here again with a video lecture on fundamental duties. In the syllabus you would have seen that first topic in the first module is preamble of the Indian Constitution and the philosophy of the Indian Constitution. Then comes fundamental rights, then fundamental duties. But I have decided to take fundamental duties first, then later I will be talking about fundamental rights in a separate video. You might be wondering why I am taking these fundamental duties first and then I am going for fundamental rights. Personally, I believe that unless and until an individual or a citizen who is living in any country, whether it could be India or like anywhere else, first of all he should realize what are the duties that he has towards the nation or towards the country where he is living in. If he knows the duty, obviously he can seek for the rights. Or what I believe in other way is that if everyone do his duty, then nobody can ask for the rights. Why they will not ask for the rights? Because everyone is doing the duty. Like for example, if you take example of mine, as a teacher, as an assistant professor, if I am doing my duty properly, that taking class is my duty, I am preparing notes and I am working hard, it is my duty, I am being paid and I am sincerely doing my duty, then it is not required for the students to ask for their rights, because their rights is to learn whatever the course which is being provided to the provided in the syllabus or curriculum, and they wanted to learn it properly, they want to learn it fully. So how it can be done? Unless or until teacher does his duty properly, they will not be able to learn it properly. So it is their rights to learn. They pay for that and they took admission, they took such a pain to come from their place to university to learn. Now if the teacher does his duty properly, then automatically the students also will be happy that they are receiving good content in that course. Likewise, in all the subjects you can take it. At the same time, like for example, in day-to-day life we could see in the administration or like in the public offices, if all the people are doing their duty properly or sincerely, then no need of what called many supervising mechanism. Like for example, if a ration card issuing authority, if they issue ration card properly, or like if they issue the number of ration card that they have been allotted to issue on particular day, if they are issuing properly, then there won't be any problem of ration card itself. Or if he does his duty without taking bribe or without getting paid in any other sources, okay? If he does his duty honestly, and if he clears all the files on his table properly or frequently, there won't be any backlog issues, and thereby like all those people like who are now presently standing in the line or standing in the queue and struggling to get this ration card, they won't be struggling this much. And once you started struggling, once these people start struggling, that is where they say that it is my right to get the ration card because I am staying in this country, isn't it? So likewise, in any service you take it, okay, those people like who are dealing with this service, if they do their duty properly, probably like there is no need of what called talking about rights itself. Like for example, in Western countries, all those people like who are at the helm of affairs, okay, they do their duty properly. Okay, it is not that like only at the what called ration card or like election voter ID card or a birth certificate, okay. So there are like many other things, even licenses also, there are many other things, like even the ministers or politicians, okay, who promise, who put out promise, okay, in the form of manifesto. If they fulfill all the points in the manifesto, people also will be very happy that like the political party who took up the manifesto, on the basis of manifesto, those who won the election, they are doing their duty or they are fulfilling their promises, whatever the promises that they given. So unless or until you do the duty, we may not be able to fulfill all the rights. Even in the rights also, in spite of giving constitutional rights to all the individuals, do you think that they get all these rights fulfilled? No, it is not so. I'll be talking in this regard in the next topic. Let me take it to you what called only fundamental duties as of now. We have many things to decide or debate, okay, that we'll be doing in the course of time. Okay, I'll be asking you some critical questions such as this one in the clarification session. Be ready for it. Okay. So now in the slide that I have put up before you, what is this written? Respect, cherish, protect, preserve, harmony, unity. This is what all duties. Well, the duties that you are going to look at in this video, this is what this content is, more or less these words that I have displayed in the what called slide. By literal meaning of what called these fundamental duties, you can go through the you can say that, like, you can understand that, okay, it talks about the duties that one individual or citizen, okay, who lives in a country has towards the country that he is living in. Okay. So now without much delay, let us get to the first slide. Okay. That is, what are fundamental duties? Fundamental duties are defined as the moral obligation of all citizens to help promote a spirit of patriotism and to uphold the unity of India. Now you could see in the slide itself, it's a moral obligation. It is not a mandatory obligation, mandatory thing that you have to do it. If you don't do it, you will get punished. It is not that. You should morally think that, okay, you have some kind of duty towards the country, and I wanted to do it. That is what this the whole thing about fundamental duties. Whatever, all the citizens should help to promote a spirit of patriotism in country and to uphold the unity of India. How patriotism? Now people have a very wrong connotation of about the patriotism itself. What is that wrong connotation? They think that patriotism is nothing but attending the 15th August Independence Day program or attending the Republic Day program. That is all, that patriotism ends in that day itself. It is not so. It is not so. Patriotism is there 365 days. The way you show your duty, the way you show your commitment towards the country, the way you show regards to your fellow beings, you acknowledge your fellow beings, or the way you protect everyone by doing your duty, the way you help the country to be united. This is what patriotism. For each and every small things, your patriotism will get reflected. These duties set in Part 4A of the Constitution, and this is nothing but the Article 51A, which deals with the what called fundamental duties. How many fundamental duties we have now? 11 fundamental duties. Originally we had 10, and one was added in the 1976. There was a one was added. One was added in the year 2002 as a 86th Amendment Act. I'll be talking about what the amendment which was made. Okay, I'll be talking about in detail in the subsequent slides. Okay, they are held by the Supreme Court to be obligatory for all citizens. It is not a mandatory for all citizens. There is the obligation is different from mandatory. Obligation means whether you wanted to do it or not do it, it is up to you. It is not forcefully imposed on you. There are some countries who have forcefully imposed on the citizens, but in India's case, it is not forcefully imposed. So fundamental duties, as I've said, it was inserted. It was not part of original Constitution. It was inserted in 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Okay, and before that there was no fundamental duties in the Constitution, and it was added in Article 51A, okay, Part 4A. It was not all of a sudden these fundamental duties came in, or like they have incorporated in the Indian Constitution. It was very well thought. In 1976, one committee which was formed and it has submitted its recommendation, that is Swaran Singh Committee. Okay. And in 1976, the bill was passed in the Parliament. On the 3rd January 1977, it came into effect. Originally, as I've said, originally 10 in number, and later one was added, and it was made 11 fundamental duties. Now, presently, we have 11 fundamental duties as a part of what called 86th Amendment in 2002. That is what I have said. Okay. These duties were meant to bring our constitution in line with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Constitution of Japan, China and USSR. All this Constitution of Japan, China, USSR, they have duties in their constitution, and these duties they take it very seriously. So, every citizen in these countries, they believe in fulfilling their duties towards the country. Okay. So, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, what is this? This Universal Declaration of Human Rights was published by what called United Nations, which is a world body or world international organization, which is established after the Second World War in order to what called maintain peace in the world. Okay. So, they have come out with one document called Universal Declaration of Human Rights, wherein like all the human rights or fundamental rights based issues are pointed out there. There are some rights which is incorporated, which you could see in the UDHR. It is there in the fundamental rights, and some rights is incorporated in the Indian Constitution in the form of duties. Okay, it is not as a rights. Okay. The last point I have already discussed with you, that Swaran Singh Committee was responsible for recommending this one. Okay, this fundamental duties. Now, without much delay, let us get back to what are the duties that we have as a citizen of India. The fundamental duties of every citizen of India according to the Constitution are to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. Now, it is not that all the fundamental duties that is mentioned, around 11 fundamental duties, okay, all are obligatory only. There are some duties which has been converted as a mandatory also. Like for example, prevention of misuse of national honors, 1971. It was passed in the Parliament. It says that no person should misuse or insult national flag, like burning the flag or keeping the flag in a very unnecessary place wherein like it is disrespectful as far as like India's tradition is concerned. Okay. So, that cannot be done. Like in the recent past also, like some few years back, I have seen in the news that Dhoni, who wore his helmet, in the helmet there was a national flag symbol was there, and he kept on the ground. Okay. And it has become very big issue that he has insulted that flag. Well, like somehow the problem was solved. Likewise, anybody who is disrespecting or kind of or misusing this flag, they will be considered as they will be booked under this act, Prevention of Misuse of the National Honor Act, 1971, and they may get into the jail like around 6 months to 1 year and with some fine. Okay. So, as I've said, like there are some duties mentioned in the Constitution, it is mandatory as well. So, you have to follow, you have to respect national flag, because you are living in a country and this country provides you everything. Okay. So, it is your duty that like you preserve the symbol of the nation or like song of the nation or flag, you have to respect. So, the second duty is that to cherish and follow the noble ideas which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Now, you see like now around 4 or 5 generation students are there, 4th or 5th generation students who are talking with me, or sometimes 3rd generation also. They don't know how India got freedom, how much struggle they have gone through. Okay. Being an engineering student, you would have read these things in 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Okay. There are some students like who would have studied in some books or read some books, okay, or like watched some movies, you know, but then like most of them, they don't know the value of the freedom that we have gained after a lot of sacrifices. Okay. I myself was not known, but then like when I started studying, I came to know that how valuable our freedom is in our country. Many people sacrificed for this freedom, Okay. So we had some noble ideals as well, okay, which has inspired our national struggle for freedom. For example, like if you could see, Mahatma Gandhi is the father of nation, and we believe that he is one of the pioneer in getting us freedom, okay, from Britishers, and he believed in, or he propagated an idea called non-violence. He did not believe in the non-violence, violence concept, violence, but he propagated non-violence. What is this non-violence? We should not, on any case, involve or use violence in order to achieve any kind of objective. So he got us freedom by using non-violent method only, not violent method. Violent method, what it will do? Ultimately, it will destroy both the sides, who wanted to fight and who are in the opposite, who doesn't want to fight and but imposed. So we have ideas such as non-violence, Swaraj, all these things, okay. So we have to cherish all those ideas. We have to follow that noble ideals also. Get inspired, okay, and everything we do for ourselves, okay, we should be very mindful of how it will affect others, how it will impact nation's development. That also we need to think. Third duty is that to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Now when we say sovereignty, it is nothing but the higher echelon of our political system, or like system itself. Prime Minister, Council of Ministers and various ministers, legislatures, judiciary, okay. All these people are like, we can say like sovereign, they are ruling us, and they are head, like Prime Minister is a real power, President is a nominal power in the sense that although he is seated as a president, but he doesn't do all the duties, but Prime Minister and its Council of Ministers, they do all the duties, all the work in the name of President. So what we have to do? We have to protect them, we have to respect them, we have to acknowledge their every rules, okay. So when any order is being released by the government, we have to follow it. If we don't follow, then like we are not kind of respecting the sovereignty. That is what we can say. If anything is there that you wanted to show, you can show it in non-violently, not in a violent way. Like recently Delhi riots, wherein like there are section of people across India, when they were opposing against CAA, they were adopting the non-violent method. They were not sitting on the road and they were not disturbing any public. They were protesting in a very isolated place wherein like nobody get disturbed. But there are some people who were protesting, they were either protesting on the road, they were either like involving themselves into violent act, okay. These are not allowed. Your duty is that, okay, you protect the private property, what called public property, okay, and you respect the sovereignty. If you have any kind of difference of opinion, you show it in a non-violent way. That is what I believe personally, and even our constitution also in the form of permanent duties talks about. And any element which is trying to divide us, or which is trying to pose a threat to what called our integrity, okay, integrity of India, we should always try to convince them that not to do this one. On an individual basis, you can also try yourself not to indulge in these kind of things, okay. At the same time, you should also try to convince others or like teach them, okay, that also you can do. So this is third duty, which says that to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. The fourth duty is that to defend the country and render national service whenever called upon to do so. How do you defend the country? wherever in our border, like if any foreign external threat is coming up, okay, so you will be called to defend the country, or like open call will be given. So with that open call, what you can do is that you can volunteer, like for example, like, during the Kargil war, many people from Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, across India, they have volunteered themselves that we wanted to fight against these terrorists who have occupied our territory in Kargil. So we are ready to lay our life also. So many recruitment was done. So likewise, like whenever there is a threat to national unity or what called sovereignty, okay, or country needs your service, okay, national service, then you should be ready to do it. There are countries like Singapore, there are countries like South Korea, okay. They give 2 years full-fledged training to all the individuals. So if they require any individuals for national service, they can hire them on the spot because they have been trained 2 years. So this training cannot be afforded by Indian government because we have population, such a huge population, 1.25 billion more than. So it is not possible, but whenever it is nation requires your service for protection of the country, you should always, without hesitation, okay, you should go forward. Okay. 5 is that to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic and regional or sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. Now, being an Indian, what is our duty? We have to protect our country. There are we are country which has so much diversity in terms of religion, in terms of language, in terms of regional territory, okay, geography, in terms of caste, in terms of color, in terms of many other things. We are not same. We are very different. Usually what happens, the developed countries like for example US or USSR or like many of the European countries, they have uniformity in the population. They speak one language, they follow one religion. All these things makes very simple for them to ruler to rule them. Okay, but in India it is not so. We have so much of diversity. So we have to promote harmony. We have to promote spirit of common brotherhood. Okay, we should not inflict violence on the woman, or we should not look down on woman. Woman is also equal to man. Okay. So any practice which is kind of dividing the society, or which is kind of bringing shame to the society, that we should not involve, or we should try to convince those people who are getting involved in this kind of activity. Okay. Coming to the 6th duty, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. What is this heritage? Heritage is nothing but the building that you could see, for example, very ancient buildings that can be called as a heritage, or any national temple, okay. Qutub Minar, Taj Mahal, then many temples, the very ancient temples which has been here for 1,000 years, Buddhist monastery, okay. So all these things are very rich heritage for us. This shows that how rich we were in the past, okay. How knowledgeable we were, okay. What kind of life that we were living, okay. When the entire world was sleeping, the Europe, which is so called developed, they were in dark period. We were having very advanced technology, advanced culture, okay. So if we wanted to show how we can show through these buildings, palaces. When the foreigners visit, they look at that one, okay. They understand that, or they will get an idea that, okay, Indian culture is very old or very ancient. That is how they will understand about us. So all this heritage that you visit, like buildings and all these things, palaces, temples, okay. Many times you could see how these people who are visiting that, they are damaging this one. So this kind of damages should not be done. Okay. Unless and until this heritage is there, our culture is we can expose our culture to others. We can teach them about our culture. Okay. So whenever you visit, make sure that you are not damaging that one. At the same time, if anyone is damaging, please teach them that they should not do this one. Okay. So to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture is one of the duty. So 7 duties to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, wildlife. Okay. To have compassion for living creature. Okay. Why natural environment is very much necessary to protect or improve upon this natural environment. Right now I am in Chennai and recording this video. In Chennai, there was a recent flood happened around some 4 to 5 years, like if you know, if I am correct. Okay. Everywhere in Chennai the water is blocked. People were somehow like around it has continued for days together, and people were struggling for even food also. The rain was continuously pouring on. Okay. So that flood, the main reason for the flood is that some of the environmentalists said that the disappearance of the lakes. Once upon a time in Chennai had around more than 3000 lakes. Now if you could see hardly some 150 lakes that you can find. Now all this waters that comes as the rain, okay, where they will go? They'll get blocked everywhere in Chennai, like that city only. Okay. Lakes were filled with the sand, and they were real estate business was done or is being done. Okay. So it is our duty that we protect forest, we protect lakes, we protect rivers, we protect wildlife, okay, living creatures in it. It is a part of biodiversity. If anything get disturbed, everything will get disturbed. Now, for example, it is a coronavirus, time of coronavirus. Okay. As far as environmentalists concerned, they are saying that, okay, because of this coronavirus, the environment has improved a lot. They are saying. I have heard that like in Yamuna the clean water is flowing now. I don't know whether I have not seen, but then like if anyone of you have seen, you can give a comment. Okay. So I was also listening to one lecture published by BBC, wherein like the environmentalist says that this time when the coronavirus, because of the coronavirus, the entire world is locked down. This time the environment or the temperature has come down very drastically, will come down, that is what they predict, and the water is clean, rain is going to come, and the impact of what called climate change is in a positive way we can see. Okay. So all these things are being said. Okay. Although this coronavirus is actually creating havoc in the world in negative way, but in the positive way is that, okay, it has put a control on the human beings activity on this earth, okay, which is a kind of very good sign in nature. Okay. So it is our duty that we protect all this forest, lakes, rivers and wildlife and living creatures in it, and all the animals like who are extinct in nature. Okay. We should try that. We should not buy any products which is made out of this what called animals related materials, like for example ivory, so elephant ivory, then this tiger and what called cheetah or leopard skins were used in order to build a what called their simulation. Okay. So that and all, like we should avoid it. And eighth point, that eighth duty that like I wanted to emphasize here is that to develop the scientific temper, humanism and the spirit of inquiry and reform. What is the scientific temper? Scientific temper is nothing but putting a reason in everything. There are times when we believe in what called India lives in a village, that is what around some 50 to 60% of people live in a village. Okay. So in a village also there are like many types of superstitions there. So you might be knowing Sati Prada, wherein like if the husband dies, you put the widow wife into the flame, okay, burn them. Okay, so this kind of activity, and baby sacrifice, okay, human sacrifice, this also is being done. and there are like many superstition. Okay, this kind of superstition is not good for our human race. So any superstitious activity that you could see, okay, so you should put your reason into it, okay, raise the question, okay, and you should also develop this questioning the things, okay, whether it could be government or anyone. You should develop a scientific temper. You should be very reasonable, okay, you should know the reason behind everything, okay, so that like you will also grow in a very civilized way. Okay. Humanism, human rights related things, okay. There is another word that I want to tell you, that empathy. Empathy is that, okay, how you are feeling others' pain, how you are feeling others' pain, or how you are putting yourself into others' shoes. That is like humanism. That whether any activity that you are doing, whether you are mindful of others also, that is humanism. Okay, spirit of inquiry and reform. The other one is that if you raise the question, you may find solution for it. Okay, you may find the ways to do it in a way that like it is not affecting others. Okay, so this scientific temper also, how you can develop. One is that like if you are educated, you can develop this scientific temper, and at the same time like spirit of inquiry and reform also, and you will also know that like how the world in other part is. Okay, so how I mean to say that how the people are living in other countries, part of the world. Okay, so other than this part. Okay, so likewise this can be done through education. So that is why like government is taking all effort to what called educate the all the what called individuals or citizens of the country. Every child should educate themselves, so that like they know what is the reason behind everything, and they don't believe in something which is kind of which is not good for human race. Okay. The ninth duty is that to safeguard public property and to abjure violence. Okay. Now you could see in the recent Delhi riots how this public property was burnt, and they have adopted violent method in order to achieve some kind of objective. It is not the way that India believes in. India is basically a non-violent country. Okay. India don't believe in attacking anyone. India has not waged war against any other country. Instead, India is being attacked by other countries. Okay. So these are things that are like public property is public's property. Public is all of us. Okay. So you should not think that, or some people considers public property is not their property. Public property is public property. It is used by the public, and you are one part of the public. Okay. So when you are involving yourself into a what called violent method, you end up in what called burning your own property. So you should teach all of them, and you should not involve in kind of violence. You should abjure the violence, and we should abjure the violence. That is what I would say. I would include myself as well when I am talking about these fundamental duties. Okay. And the 10th point is that to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rise to a higher levels of endeavor and achievements. You should give all your best, 100%. You should collectively work. In terms of individual also, when you are working, try your maximum level in order to help this country to reach its higher level. Okay. Constantly raises to higher levels of endeavor and achievements. In all the aspects of our life, we should try. Okay. The 11th, that is last fundamental duty, is that every parents, okay, should send their kids to school. It is a duty. This was added little later, not in the original what called not in the year 1976 when these fundamental duties were incorporated in the Constitution as a part of 42nd Amendment Act. This 11th duty was added in the 86th Amendment in the year 2002. Okay. So every child between 6 to 14 years should go to the school. Okay. What is the importance in environmental pollution has become very great cause of concern. Okay. So it is our duty, like through these fundamental duties we have come to know that it reminds us, these duties reminds us to keep our farmers free, what called environment free from pollutants. Okay, and it is the inclusion of providing opportunity for education for children as a parental duty is a big step forward towards safeguarding of human rights and abolition of social injustice. Because of illiteracy, human rights violation is happening. Okay, at the same time, social injustice. Okay, so to abolish this social injustice and safeguarding human rights, education is only medium through which, like, you can educate the student or educate the people that, okay, you have certain fundamental rights, so you should take care of these fundamental rights. You can fight for these fundamental rights and you can do your duty properly. All these things can be taught. What is this utility and significance? It's not originally part of the constitution, these fundamental duties. Much later it was added in the year 1976. Okay, so by looking at some of the other countries' constitution like China and Russia and Japan, we also felt that, like, we have to incorporate these duties also, certain duties of the citizens. And duties are not only these 11, there are like many duties are there. As of generally I talked. Okay. So anything that you do, if it helps or contributes to the society, okay, this is your duty. Okay. So these were added to the constitution much later. The idea behind incorporation of fundamental duties was to remind the citizens of the country that they have certain obligation towards the country and society. Okay. There are three most important items in the list of fundamental duties, like, although all the fundamental duties are very important, but three importance I would like to say is that you should respect the ideals of the constitution and institution it establishes. What are those institutions? Like executive, legislature, judiciary, that's what I said. Organs of the government, okay, administration, all these things will come under the institution. Okay, constitution, we have this constitution which says that, okay, how we can go forward. Okay, so we should be very proud of our constitution. Our country is that, okay, we have never changed the constitution. Once it was implemented in the year 1950, okay, till now we are continuing with the same constitution with changes. There are countries like who has changed the constitution many times. Okay, even developed countries like France, 5 times they have changed. Okay, but in India, what we have fixed, what we have, like our forefathers has fixed. Okay, we believe that, okay, there are time to time some changes has to be made, so accordingly we made. Otherwise, like, our constitution remains the same only. So in terms of respecting the ideals of the constitution, yes, to some extent we can say, but still there are many people like who don't know about the constitution, whose rights have been deprived, who don't know what is the duty. Okay, it is our duty is to give them awareness. Okay. So the second point which is very important is that India is a very diversified country, all of us know that. Okay, so we have to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, whether they could be from different religion or like speaking different languages or different castes. Okay, anything, it could be color, creed, anything. Okay, so promoting harmony and spirit of common brotherhood is our primary duty to fulfill. Any elements, antisocial elements who are trying to divide this country or don't support them, okay, and instead teach them that, like, we have to unite this country and we have to keep this country united. Okay, so we should not see the differences. If few people are doing that, don't blame the whole community. Okay, so we have to see through it, or we have to realize that, okay, this country, we cannot get away with all these differences. We have to live with these differences. Okay, to safeguard, the third is to safeguard the public property and to abjure the violence that I have already talked about. It is a non-justiciable in nature. This means that no one can be punished in case of their violation or non-compliance of any fundamental duty, except the fact that, like, some fundamental duties, like, which has been converted into an act. Okay, so that is mandatory. Okay, for example, I have said national flag. Okay, so if you are insulting national flag, you may get into the jail, or you may land in the jail for 6 to 12 months with some hefty fine. Okay. That is the duty. It is not mandatory, but it is obligatory as well as mandatory. Okay. And the 11th fundamental duties that you see, this is also right to education. Okay. Every government should take all the steps to what called make sure that all the children are getting educated. So that's why like the government schools are open. Okay. So government should take the steps. Similarly, these duties are non-enforceable in nature. Okay. So it cannot be forcefully imposed on anyone. It is obligatory. If you want to do it, or if you don't want to, you don't do it. Okay. That is, no court can, or no any government body can direct you or like force you to do this one. Okay. No legal action can be taken if you are not doing this duty. Non-justiciable in nature. Okay. You cannot go to the court and say that okay, this person or like the people are not doing their duty, so they have to be what called punished. We cannot say. But however, state can make some law, as I've said, related to national flag and related to what called right to education, that I've said. Okay. For instance, a person who burns national flag in a violation of the duty in Article 51A cannot assert it was burnt by way of demonstration against the government. Should be protected by the freedom of expression or right. Okay. So you cannot say that like I am having the freedom to express my anger on towards the country, and you keep on burn the flags and hold the insult on any national symbols. Okay. These are the available legal provisions, okay, that you could see. Okay. So we are in concluding session. As a conclusion, I want to read this word which is being displayed in your system, like in the video. And for the enjoyment of valuable fundamental rights, firstly we need to obey our fundamental duties seriously as the law-abiding citizens, and must realize that he has certain duties towards the nation to achieve the objectives of Part 4A, that is national integrity and respect, because as Salman says, there can be no right without a corresponding duty. So now, by now you would have understood what is like some slight difference between duty and right. If you are asking for the right, did you do your duty? That question you have to ask to yourself. So duty is very important. Everyone has to do it. Okay. Being a student of mine, okay, all of you should always try to do your duty. Okay. So whatever the 11 duties that I have mentioned, keep it in your mind. Okay. So teach others also, so that like everyone will get benefit. So this is the end of this fundamental duties lecture. We'll see you with the next lecture on fundamental rights. Thank you. Bye.